hot, fresh, buttery, homemade bread on the barbecue. Yes, please. What's even better is this recipe is so easy you can get the kids involved.
Very delicious.
They'll be entertained for about an hour, they'll get a chance to get connected with food, and you'll be rewarded with a fresh loaf of homemade bread at the end. I mean, even if you don't have kids, this recipe is so delicious and it's easy and it turns out amazing on your barbecue. Now, I had planned to cook this recipe with my niece Taylor, but unfortunately we've had to get creative and do this virtually, so I can show you ways that you can get your kids involved. Say hi, Taylor.
Hi everyone, today I'm making homemade bread with my Aunt Lola and we're going to make it on the weather.
So let's get started. This is the part where you can get the kids involved. So I have 2.5 cups of bread flour in here. You can use plain flour, however I have found there is still lots of bread flour at the shops, so use that if you can. The next thing we add is 1 teaspoon of salt and then 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is instant dry yeast. I just pop in 1 sachet and you can add this straight into the mixture. The next step is 1 cup of warm water. Just pour that in. And then 50 grams of butter. This is going to make our bread nice and buttery. And then all that we need to do is stir and mix that around. And once that has mostly come together, you can turn it out onto a clean surface. And this is where I like to do this outside, so you can make so much of a mess and it doesn't even matter. And then clean hands, you can start kneading the dough. So to knead, I like to stretch and then fold, stretch and then fold. And this will be quite a sticky dough, but that means it'll be super soft when you eat it.
You're like an expert.
After 10 minutes, it should be nice and smooth like this. Pop it into a bowl and let it proof for an hour until it grows and doubles in size. And just make sure you cover it with some plastic wrap.
Let it sit there for an hour and it will grow.
Have a look at how much that has grown. Now it's time to get stuck into that dough again. So we just want to punch it and knock down all that air. You can turn it out again onto a work surface and then just knead again for a couple of minutes. And now we can pop our dough into our loaf tin. So this is just a normal bread loaf tin. I've greased it and then lined it with baking paper, and you can just stretch it out into an approximate shape. And it only needs to be rough, just like that. And now we need to leave it for another half an hour to rise again. What I like to do is get some cling wrap, sit it on top, but just in case the dough rises too big and starts to stick to the cling wrap, if you just spray it with a little oil and then flip it over, that'll make sure the dough doesn't stick to the plastic at all. It's getting so close to baking time. I am really excited. Our dough has risen up nicely. And you can see by oiling the plastic wrap, it doesn't stick at all. While our barbecue is preheating, I'm going to put a couple score marks on top of the bread. This will help allow the steam to escape. You'll need a really sharp knife for this. And this is a job best left for adults. So once we have our score marks in there, I'm just going to brush it with a little bit of melted butter, and this will help turn the loaf nice and golden. And be really careful doing this part. We don't want to deflate the beautiful risen dough. I've set up our Barbeque for indirect cooking with the convection tray and trivet. I'm going to pop our loaf of bread on. And then close the lid and adjust the heat to more of a medium to low heat. The bread's going to take 20 minutes to cook, so now's the time to find something else for the kids to do.
Okay, Giggle. Set a timer for 20 minutes.
Sure, 20 minutes. Starting now.
It smells incredible. Let's have a look at our bread. Wow. That looks perfect. Nice and golden. Let's check if it's ready. Give it a little tap. If it sounds hollow, it's ready. Put on some heat-proof gloves and you can safely take it off the barbecue. This has to be one of my favourite smells in the world. I really wish you could all smell this. I'm going to dig into it straight away. So I'm just going to turn it out of the tin and you'll see how soft it is. And oh, look at that steam coming out. A nice big dollop of butter and a very generous dollop of my homemade apricot jam. Yum. Taylor, your bread looks amazing.
Yay! I made the bread finally! Very delicious.
Ooh. Yum. How amazing is fresh homemade bread? If you haven't given it a go yet, try this recipe because it is so easy. I'll be putting the recipe onto an article on our website so you can give it a go and keep having fun with barbecuing and cooking at home.